Last week, I was talking to one of the largest retailers in the world, and they said something that really stuck out to me. And I'll quote, "Our whole focus right now is developing habits with our customers and making sure that they're not one-off transactions. The most important thing that we need to do is make sure that we drive a second purchase." This is a common theme throughout all my conversations. Every week, my team and I are speaking to retailers all around the world of different sizes, and loyalty is the hottest topic that's top of mind for all marketing and digital teams. If you think about it, the competition is only up in retail right now. Amazon Prime is in, over half of US households at this point and dictates a lot of the default buying behavior, right? A lot of people just open up their Amazon app and see what's available with 2-day shipping and 30-day returns. The best thing you can do as a brand is figure out how to make your customers loyal to you and make sure they buy more and more of the products they already want to buy from you instead of another company. And one of the best ways to drive customer lifetime value and repeat purchases from your brand is having a loyalty program. 66% of consumers actually adjust their spend to maximize loyalty benefits. 75% of consumers are actually more likely to make a purchase after receiving an offer. So first and foremost, let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks is known to be a brand with extremely high loyalty. And you probably already know that just from yourself going to Starbucks super frequently. But just to put in picture, over 70% of their 75 million customers at Starbucks actually go to a store weekly. So one of the things that really stands out is how ahead of the game Starbucks was in terms of creating a really data-driven loyalty program. Very quickly after the App Store was released, Starbucks was one of the first brands that said, we're going to make a mobile app to really engage customers and build loyalty. Even though they just sell coffee, which isn't the most tech advanced thing you'd imagine, they actually really look at all the different purchases you made in the past and everything they know about you as a customer to do things like, hey, if you buy an extra pumpkin spice latte, we'll give you 2x the points. Another good place to look on the loyalty side is the travel industry. In the travel industry, loyalty is literally everywhere. From Marriott to United Airlines to Hertz car rentals, there are tons of loyalty programs. And I honestly can't name a travel company that doesn't have a loyalty program, even the budget airlines. And one of the big reasons for this is because travel is a super competitive market. There's tons of people who are offering similar things, and the differences between them are often very qualitative. In the airline industry in particular, you have alliances between the airlines of different regions or different specialties where you can actually have points in one airlines and use them in another. And this is really cool because you're making loyalty with a certain airline really valuable to a customer because loyalty with them can actually be applied to other services around the world. And last but not least, there's this really interesting concept in travel loyalty programs of free upgrades. It's really everywhere. I mean, if you check into a hotel and there's a room available on the top floor, they might give you a free upgrade to a suite there. Or in a flight, if you're a loyal member of United or have a certain amount of points or you're a certain tier like United Silver, you might actually be able to get free upgrades like a more premium seat without actually paying for it. The cost for a hotel isn't that much higher when a room is actually filled, or the cost of a flight doesn't actually go up when a passenger moves from the economy class over to the front of the plane. Another really interesting tactic that I've seen is brands, especially in retail and consumer products and goods, really investing in communities. North Face and Adidas do a lot of community engagement by running events in certain flagship locations they have, doing products with people who are really famous that have a lot of followers. And then probably the best example actually that I've seen in practice is Sephora's community around beauty products and skincare and perfumes and stuff like that online. But really, if you think a little bit deeper, the community is not only a really good brand play and way to stay top of mind for your customers, but it's also a really big treasure chest of data about what individual customers are interested in, what kind of posts are they viewing the community, where are they engaging? And that's something that I think is really powerful in the community-based approach, is the amount of signal you get, but something that a lot of brands haven't monetized yet. The last example that I wanted to really dive into is PetSmart. And I'm quite familiar with their loyalty program because it's actually one of our flagship customers. We work directly with that initiative. PetSmart only launched their loyalty program, Treats, 6 years ago. But today, it has over 65 million members in it, And 90% of all sales at PetSmart are actually attached to members of the loyalty program, which is insanely impressive. They don't just sell you items more broadly. What they actually do is they also have services like veterinarian services or pet care right in the same locations of PetSmart stores. What they're doing is driving people to the store more often so that they're more likely to build habits around going to the store and make purchases while they're there for pet care, for veterinarian services, etc. And this tactic isn't just applicable to PetSmart. It's actually something that we've seen other brands do in different forms over the last few years. For example, Anthropologie, which is primarily a women's clothing brand that's a part of the Urban Outfitters group, they've started distributing shoes from Hoka or New Balance or different brands that they're not actually the ones making the products. There's something else that PetSmart does in their loyalty program that is super, super interesting. And the way that they do that and make the experience with their customers feel so personal in terms of all the emails they send you or all the text messages or in-app notifications or offers is really that they are tracking information in their loyalty program that you're giving them as a customer around what's the actual pet that you're buying these products for. What's the breed of it? What's the weight of it? What's the age of it? And that allows them to do really interesting things like pet birthday campaigns and pet birthday offers and all sorts of stuff that other brands just don't go to that level because they're not thinking about their data as strategically. Your edge as a brand when it comes to driving loyalty is really your ability to deeply understanding what specific knowledge you have about your customers that no one else does, and using that to cater how you engage them. Let's just zoom up into what PetSmart does in particular, since it's a company we're so familiar with. First, from a metrics perspective, PetSmart is running over 1,000 live audiences for campaigns at any given time. And when I say audiences, I mean, different customers that are receiving different marketing based on their behavior. In addition to that, they are shipping over 4 billion emails per year to their customer. You might think, oh, that's a lot. Is that like spam? And it's actually not. It's actually not spam. It's actually highly effective and appreciated by their customers because of how personalized those communications are. So what's PetSmart actually doing? Well, first they get all that data into Databricks, which is their primary data warehouse across the company now. And not just a data warehouse where they can dump data and run analytical queries, but where they can actually even do stuff like machine learning and predictions and more advanced analytics. But then instead of just visualizing all that data in a BI tool like Tableau, what PetSmart's doing is actually employing our company, HighTouch, to allow marketers to sit on top of all of that data that's inside of Databricks and run really personalized campaigns. It's a really easy tool for marketers to use. Point and click, drag and drop, using ML and AI to suggest things automatically to you. But it sits directly on top of your company's data warehouse where you have all this data. And marketers, without having to know SQL or anything technical, can now go into HighTouch and start building audiences and journeys and deep personalization based on everything they know about their customers, and then deliver that to them across all their channels. Now, I could talk about this for ages, but I think the most important thing that I want people to really remember is that loyalty is about not just being another brand. It's about not just being another store or vendor that sells things. It's about having a conversation with your customers and really understanding them at a personal basis and adapting everything you do as a business, not just your loyalty program, but everything you do as a business to adapt to the needs of each individual customer.